This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone, very good morning to all. So let us discuss about some more elements in the HTML. In last session we discussed about list elements and anchor elements, images, and we discussed it, right? So let me talk about two more elements, that is going to be table and one more is going to be form. So table is a parent element. It contains some uh, elements which should be placed inside the table only. Form, and form also is a parent element for some other elements. There are form elements will be there. In interviews also people will ask us what are all the form elements available. So we have to see those form elements also. Let us talk about the table first. Why we need a table? Generally to segregate the data. I mean segregate the data in the sense, what is a table? If you can simply say, table is a collection of rows and columns. I want to display some data in the form of rows and columns. Right now you can see employee view.php. Can you see what you are able to see? This is some data which is in the database, actually, and you are able to see ID, name, email, mobile, salary, designation. What are all we call them headings? And next one is the second row, and this is going to be the third record, and this is going to be the fourth, some record. So they are the records. The vertical sections are going to be called as columns, and each and every box is one cell, nothing but, right. So how we can create a table? Table having some of the internal elements. Now, if you can check this table having an element called t head. So t head, t body, t foot, right? Tr, th, and td. So these are all the elements which are available in the table. For defining the headings, we can go for t head. For defining the body rows, we can go for t body. If you want to define headings in footer also, what is footer? Let me show you one more scenario. Best example I will show you in the live. Here I have headings on the top only. Some people will take headings in bottom of the table also. That I will show you one scenario. There is a concept called jQuery data tables. Let me show you these data tables to you. Now can we see headings are available in the footer of the table also. If you can go and check this, headings are available in top of the table also. Sometimes they may need to take like this exactly. Bottom of the table and top of the table. Exactly. So this is a table having some columns called name, position, office, age. Name is sorry, name, position, office, agent, start date. These are all the things we are having, right? We may have a lot of examples also, but this table is neatly designed. But you can see this table is also somewhat designed by using CSS. Okay, let me create a table. First of all, let me go and take the basic structure of HTML. So I just want to save the file in your working directory. I'm keeping all the files in one location. So that is here. This is going to be table.html or users.html, products.html. Like this, you can name it anything, right? This is going to be, I'm taking my title as users list, heading of the table. I mean, page heading actually, this is, right? This is exactly the thing. So now table tag open, immediately close the table tag. Inside the table, first we have to take the headings. To take headings, we have T head. We are having T head open, T head close. In this T head, we are going to take one more TR. TR refers table row. Right. In this table row, I'm going to take a TH. TH open, TH close. But remember carefully, when you're working with the table, the tags should be open and closed properly. If you're not closing them properly, there may be a problem in the table. This is going to be ID. This is going to be name. This is going to be something called email. Something I'm going to take it as email. This is going to be mobile, and this is going to be city. That's all. So these are the 5 columns I'm going to take. Just we can run the file also. We can check this. So in just running the file in the Chrome, this is what exactly the thing we are getting. Okay, right. Here T head is completed. Now T body. T body open, T body close. In this, we have to have the records. Each and every record we can keep. Each and every record is one row. Here, data we have to display. To display the data, we have to use the TD. TD stands for table data, table heading, table row, right? So here ID1, let me have some name, let me have some mail ID, dummy mail ID, let me have some mobile number, city. Yeah, let us check this. This is how one record is there. Now in the T body, I'm going to take one more record open, TR open and TR close. In this, just you are going to take it TD and TD. So like this, we can take many number of records. Right now, these records are all are static records. These all records are static. Yes. Now you can check this. There are 3 records out there. But this is looks good. But earlier I showed you one table that is well and good. And you are able to see this table is also somewhat better than our table. So how these table aligned exactly center, there are some borders for the table and alternative column head. Now you can see when I'm hovering on the cell and it is getting the things properly on hover effect, something like this. Color is changing on the table row when I'm hovering on each and every row. Definitely, this is done by using CSS. What you can do by using HTML, you can do up to here. Otherwise, we know that every element having some attributes, so you can add some attributes for the table. Now I'm going to take table id, sorry, table id, not id. We have a property called border equal to 1. Okay, now you can check this is the table border. If you can take table border as 10, now you can check this, there is a very thick border outside. Now you can see this is the table exactly. You want to take like this, yeah, we can take like this also. Now you can see I have one more property called cell padding. Cell padding. What is the meaning of padding? Remember carefully. In CSS also we can discuss about padding. Cell padding is another property. This will gives us gap inside the cell. Gap inside the cell. So now you can see I'm crossing 10. Now you can check this. Inside the cell you are going to see some gap. Can you see? Inside the cell. This is inside the cell. You are able to get the gap. Earlier, they all look like a clumsy. Now it is somewhat better than earlier, right? Okay, this is called cell padding. Now you can see, I will show you one more property, cell spacing also. Space between the cell and cell. Now you can see, same 10 I'm giving you. If you can refresh, can you see? Table is actually, you can remove this property first. You can remove this. Now this is actual table. Refresh the page. This is actual table. Now you can see I'm passing cell spacing 10. Space between the cell and cell, that is all 4 sides of every cell is 10 pixels gap. So I don't want this property, it's not looks good. I want to go with the cell padding. This is looks good, so I want to go like this exactly. So we do, it looks somewhat better gap in the cell, that's why we are going to with this property, guys, exactly. Yeah, so this is all about cell spacing and cell padding, and this is a way of creating a table. You can also create a table with a different scenario. Can you see here I created an employee table, ID, name, email, mobile, salary of the employee, designation of the employee, date of join, and the action. So the users generally, it's a server-side program. Based on the server-side program, we bring the data. But it is actually, it is PHP. But even though that may be a PHP, without HTML, they cannot display the table like this. Without CSS, and we cannot design it, definitely, right? So this file may be related to PHP, but now you can see, you want, you can edit it, edit the record also. Now you can edit the record. I'm writing test welcome, I'm updating the name. So now you can go and check this salary. I'm making this as a 50,000 salary, and you are going to select the designation. So what is the designation? Oh, it is not selecting. Employee updated successfully. Now you can go and view employees. You can see test welcome, salary is updated automatically for the employee. Exactly. Right. So they are updating the data like this. Exactly, guys. Okay. Right. That is server side. Remember this form creation. Now we have to create a form like this. This form is also HTML, and the form is designed by using CSS. Always, guys, in real time, keep it in mind. HTML and CSS will go hand in hand. You know one more thing. In real time, people will use one word actually. What is that word? CSS is the HEART, heart of the web application. They will use this word actually. Heart of the web application, in a sense, if CSS is not there, building will be collapsed. It simply says, I mean, if the cement is not there between the bricks, definitely your building is going to be collapsed. In the same manner, CSS is the heart of our web application, beautification and alignments, and everything will done by CSS only. I want to make alignments, I want to make elements side by side, or I want to design it. I want to make some colors. I want to make some background colors, and everything will done by the manage and by the CSS only. That's why this may be called heart of CSS. Don't worry, the heart of web application we can discuss in upcoming session. Okay, guys, this is the table, and we can use the table like this. I think we have a caption also. CAPTION caption, table caption, open caption, CAPTION. Caption open, caption close. Here I'm writing hello users list, something. I'm writing my users list like this. If you can check this, this will become like this table caption exactly on top of the table. Caption is also one of the element which is related to table. Exactly, we have to write inside the table only. These are all the elements which are inside the table. Now you can see table, tr, tbody, th, td, and t-head, t-foot, caption are all the elements which are related to table. Yesterday we seen ul, li are the combination. In the same manner, table having the elements inside of it, presenting the data to the end user. In the same manner, we want to talk about the form elements. What are the form elements we are having? Forms means you know very well, I believe. Generally, every website may contain registration form. Every website may contain login form. Some people may have inquiry form, right? We can create an inquiry form. We can create a contact form, whatever it may be. We can create subscription form, SSCRIPTION, subscription form, add employee form, edit employee form, something like this, adding records form. Some whatever it may be, I'm calling all the things as a adding records. For example, I want to add a product name, product price, product specifications, product color, product image. I want to add all the things like this. That is product. You want to, for example, you want to save book information, book. So book ID, book title, book price, book author, and all the information we can collect, and we can save the data into database now like this. So for this, we have to create a form. Whatever the form you are going to create, that may be register and login, we have to use form elements. What are the form elements we are having? So these are all the forms, this type of forms we can create by using this. First one is going to be input is an element. Input is an element. So by using this input, we can create the input fields. What is input? Where we can input the data. So input in the sense, at the end of the day, end user is going to input the data, right? So input, you may know about the text area, right? Where we can enter very huge information like address information, some descriptions, something will accepted by the text area. You may know about select. What is a select tag? So drop down box, or else I can call it as a drop downs. What is this is called? Drop downs. In a drop down list, I want to pick a state, country, city, something like this we are having, right? Yeah, this is called drop downs list, exactly. So this is how we can pick the information, guys. Select drop downs. uh, we have a button also, guys. We have a button. We have input button is there, and button is also there. what else we are having? Input text area. We have legend. We have an element called legend. We have one more thing. Legend contain field caption. One minute, I will check this. We have one more thing called label. Label is also element. Let me check this. Field caption. I'm thinking an element. FIEL. Field caption. HTML. Field set. Sorry. Field set. Legend and field set, guys, both are combination. FIELD. Field set, forget the tag. So these are the some elements are there. Label, legend, field set, as well as input, text area, select, and button. These are all the elements we are having. Let us see all the elements, guys. So first, we are going to talk about input, one of the biggest element in the HTML, including lot of attributes are there for this, right? So for creating a input field, now you can see, we know that every input field having some attributes now. Okay, let me create the basic structure of HTML first. Let me copy this. Let me paste this. I'm going to give you the basic structure of the HTML. What happened? It is not copied everything. Oh, yes, let me save the file. Form.html is my file name. Let me remove everything from the body. Right, I removed everything. Just I'm keeping the basic skeleton only. HTML forms. HTML forms, right. So guys, remember, every form, I told you some of the elements right here. Every form should be inside the form tag. Form field, right? I mentioned some form fields. What are the form fields? We mentioned input and a text area, something we mentioned, right? So everything should be available inside the form tag. This is exactly form tag. You know, here we are having T body, T head, T caption. Where they have to be? They have to be inside the table only. Under the table, these elements should be there. In the same manner, all these input elements also should be followed under form element. If there is no form tag, you no need to create a form. Then there is no use of that form you are going to create it. Now you can check this. Every form field should be available inside the form only. This is a form tag open, form tag close. Inside the form tag, now you have to add some fields. Add some fields. I'm going to have some field with a username. Okay, let me take this as a label. LABEL label. LABEL label. Label open, label close. In this label, I'm going to take this as a username. Immediately, you need a text box. Let me have a text box. Input type equal to, right. Now you can see. So input is an element. I'm not adding type also, just input is an element. Just I created an element like this. Can we run the file? Now you can see automatically. So either it is in Chrome or Firefox. Okay, let me run this into Chrome. Okay, can you see guys here? I created it. Now you can see username and it is having a input field. By default, it is a called text box where we can enter the text inside of it. Now you can see input element contain by default text box. So we have an attribute. What is an attribute, guys? We know attribute will change the behavior of the element. So what is the type? By default type is text. Even if it didn't provide, by default attribute of the input is text. That's why you're getting the text box. This is exactly text box. When you see input type equal to radio, what is going to be happen? Just you are changing the value of the input only. Automatically the behavior is also changing. Sometimes we know because of the attribute the behavior will be changes. Sometimes because of the value of the attribute also behavior will be changed. Earlier we used a text field, text value, text box. Now I use a radio. Now you can see there is a radio button is there. Now you can go and use this as a checkbox. Now you can see check box. I'm just going for checkbox. Refresh the page. Oh, checkbox. Spell mistake may be there. Input type CHECK checkbox. Yeah, spell mistake. Now you can see this is going to be a checkbox. In real time, we can see hobbies. I want to select hobbies. Cricket, playing, something like this. We can have some options where we can pick the options. That is called, or else when we are creating an account there is a checkbox, please accept terms and conditions, right? Such a manner, right? So this is a checkbox. Can you see because of changing the value the things are going to be work. Input type submit, submit submit. Now you can see this is a submit button. So element is input only, but we are generating many values by using input. Input type button. Now you can check this. It is going to be button, but it doesn't have any label or anything. So to add a label, we have to add one more attribute called value for the button specially, right? So if we can add other attribute value equal to save, now you can see attribute is added to the save. Earlier you did an input type submit, right? Submit submit. If there is no value, by default it is going to be submit. If you can set the value, now you can see the submit will override with the value attribute. Exactly. So this will be happen with the submit only. For button you have to add it manually. Now you can see I'm not having anything. That's why it is coming as a text box. Input type equal to file. What is this file attribute? Now you can see choose file. Generally, if you want to upload your file or if you want to upload your resume, so these are the some situations we are having, right? Yeah, definitely. In this point of time, we can use all the things, guys. Exactly, right? Okay, great. So this is what exactly the input field we are having. You know, one more thing, input type equal to password. Now you can see this is going to be a password box. Whatever the things you're typing, it will become dot 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 something like this. This is exactly input type password. And input type equal to email. So we can have something called email, but even though you can enter text, it doesn't do anything. But they given this as a HTML5 attribute, right? Okay, input type equal to number. Now you can see if you can take the number, now you can see, so it is going to give you some drop down like this, and we can increment the value and we can decrement the value. This is exactly the input type number. So now you can see input type equal to range, range, range. Now you can see this is a range. So for this we have some attributes min and max also. Let me take this min equal to 10. Just I want to take min 10. Okay, let me check this. So is min 10 is happen, so min or max? 1 minute, let me check this max or min. So by default is in the center. I think we can adjust the value, guys, by using its attribute, right? So input type range. Let me check this. What are the attributes we're having? Input type range range in HTML. I want to see the attributes of it actually. I think min 0. Actually min 0, max 10. I think okay, these values will be go there in the database, guys. Actually min 0, max 0 means So we can get only these values, min 0, max 0. Let me take the both values here, min 0, max 0. Now you can check this. Okay, not this is the file, right? So now you can go and check this, min 0, max 0. I mean, so this is maybe exactly center, it may be 5. If you are selecting like this, it may be 1, it may be 0, it may be 10. I mean, if you can select like this, it will be 10 like this. Price range, sometimes based on the price, so we can have it something called exactly the price range from 500 to 5000. So min is 500, max is 5000. Generally, we can see this kind of ranges in Amazon, Flipkart, the range of the price exactly. So these are the some values of the attribute exactly, right? So this is what exactly the concept of min, max, step. Okay, step is also a value. Step is also an attribute. This is for range attribute only. This is not for, this is one more attribute actually. Step 2 I'm taking. If we can take step 2, let us see what is my output exactly. It is somewhat bigger. Step 0, I'm taking step 0. It is in the middle. Step -1, can we take minus values? Nothing change. I'm taking step 10. You can check this exactly. It is completely occupied the things. Okay, right, no need to worry about these things, right? So this is an input element. Now the second thing is here, this is an attribute, min is an attribute, max is an attribute, step is an attribute. Like this, for an input element, there are so many attributes are there, guys, but all the attributes are used in different situations actually. This is step we can use. When we can use step, if the type equal to range, then only we can use step. If type equal to range, then only we can add min and max values. But for example, if type is equal to password, can we use min and range and step? No, we cannot use it. That is the depends actually. Now you can see type is equal to text. There is an attribute called, now you can see this is a text exactly. We are having an attribute called placeholder. There is an attribute called placeholder is equal to something. Now I'm writing something called username. You can see inside the text box something will be placed. This is called placeholder. When you are typing something, that will be hidden automatically. Can you see the username was hidden automatically? Sometimes you can see in the Facebook, if you can go to Facebook registration, 1 minute, they want to display any label actually. In place of the labels, 1 minute, let me log out from the application. Let me show you uh, the logout or registration form. Can you see? Okay, you can see the login form. Do you have any label in the login form? We don't have any label in the login form. Email, address or phone number. That is called placeholder. Password is also placeholder. When you're typing, the password will be hidden, something like this exactly. So if some people will create the forms without labels, we don't need label, they will use a placeholder. Now you can check this. I removed the label from here. Now if you can go and you can check this, just by seeing this input field you will understand, right? Username, so you are going to enter the username like this exactly. So like this we are having so many attributes are there in the thing, guys. So placeholder is one attribute. Min length, max length. Now you can see I'm going to take max length, MAX LENGTH. Max length is equal to I'm taking this as a 5. What is the meaning of max length 5? Now if we can refresh the page, now you can see I'm writing HELLOWO. No, it is not typing, guys. It is accepting up to 5 characters only. This is called max length, right? Maximum length of the input field is 5 means, so we can enter more, exactly 5 characters only. We cannot enter more than that actually, right? So this is one more thing. So max length. We have some other attributes. ID is also an attribute. Name is also an attribute. Class is an attribute. Style is an attribute, right? These are all some attributes we are having, guys, here. So why we need ID? Generally, ID is the purpose of JavaScript and CSS. Class is also purpose of JavaScript and CSS. I mean, if it is a CSS case, I want to design the input field based on ID, based on class, we can design. If it is a JavaScript, I want to access the element in JavaScript. By using ID we can access, by using class also we can access. This style attribute is used for designing an element. That is also for designing, but this is style is for specially used for inline styling. Inline styling means within the element we can write some styles by using style attribute. This name attribute is used for the server purpose. As earlier I shown you, 1 minute. Let me open a file, add employee file I shown you right earlier. Let me show you one small thing for you so that you will understand the purpose of ID, purpose of name. htdocs. Let me show you. This is server side programming. Don't worry about it. So employee add. Where is this employee add? Yes. Okay. You can see this file. Don't worry, this is the combination of HTML, CSS, and PHP, JavaScript, and everything. Okay, now you can see this is the form, guys, I created. Can you see this is the form actually? So here you can see input type equal to text, name equal to ename, ID equal to ename. Can you see the name exactly where you are using, inside the server to access the text box I'm using? Name is the reference to server. Actually, you are not a person to add the name. You have to design the element. That's all. That is your responsibility. So once a form is created, you have to hand over to the developer. Developer will take care of the name attribute. So name is used. See, for example, you are entering a value in the text box. On submit, we have to get the value, right? How can we server-side developers will get the value by using the name reference? Right, we have an ID here. So why it is the purpose of ID? If you can be to go to the bottom, now you can see this is I'm using a method get element by ID based on uname. In JavaScript, you want to access the value of the text box ID. In server side, you want to access the value of a input field. Name is the attribute. That is the purpose of it. We are adding name and ID. Okay. Actually, because I know server side developer also, that's why we are able to tell you something, the combination. Actually, you are not a responsible person to add the name attribute. You are a designer, you are a front end developer, you can add an ID. That's enough actually. Whenever this form is going to be handled by the server side people, they will add name attribute. You are not a person to add the name attribute. Actual says, frankly says. Right. So now this is how we are having lot of attributes, guys, here. Now let me go and let me create a small form. I want to take the label also. Let me take the label. Yeah, label. So placeholder, whenever you are having label, I think placeholder is not required. If label is not there, then you can take the placeholder. This is exactly we can do. Do you see this form is also having some attribute, guys? Method is an attribute. method, method is an attribute, and action is also one attribute. Two attributes are there for the form. What is method? So generally there are two methods are there, either get method, either post method, either get or post. And this is what exactly, action. Action in the sense on submit the form where the data should go. Data should go to server, right? The server path you have to provide here. It is going to be server path or server location. For example, I want to pass this to some PHP file. I want to send this form data to some PHP file or Java file, .NET file, Python. Any of the server-side programming, that path you have to take it. Why? Because there we are going to send the data. There we are going to get the values of the form. Exactly. And the post or get. Why this method? Whatever the data you are entering in the form, the data will be collected by the post method or get method, and it will transfer the data to server save.php. That is the purpose of method get, method post. Method get or method post, you can use anyone. Both methods purpose is here collecting the data you entered in the form, and they will transfer the data to save.php. Whatever the action URL, if method is not there, nothing is there. Where the data will go? Data will transfer to same page because you didn't provide any action, right? If you are not saying any action, the data was posted within the same page. What is the method? By default, method of your form is get method. If you didn't mention any method attribute here, default get. We didn't mention any action. If you didn't mention any action, so default it will submit it to the same page. I mean, so you have method, now you make it empty, and you are making this also an empty, nothing. Action empty, method empty. So means that if method empty, by default method is get. Even if it didn't provide, by default method also get. Action, you didn't provide anything. By default, action is empty means within the same page the form will be submitted. I will show you both situations. Wait for some time. This is input type equal to text, and I want to take ID equal to, just I'm going to take ID equal to uname, something like this I take it. So refresh the page, form is created. I want to take one more. Let me take this as an email. Just I'm going to create a form, one more label with the email, input type equal to text, name equal to ID equal to email. Now you can see they are coming side by side. Now you want to have one break tag here, have a break tag, two break tags I'm taking. Now they will be like this. Okay, let me have a break after label also. Break tag open, so break tag close for every label after. Now you can check this, the form will be like this exactly. All fields are aligned left side by default. If you want to align the fields right side, there is another concept is there by using CSS only. Now this is going to be mobile, exactly. ID equal to mobile. I'm not taking all the attributes right now. Wait for some time. Slowly we can reduce all the attributes also. This is the form. Now you want to take something called password. You want to take some other fields. There are so many fields are there. Okay, we will create. We will show you some of the examples in tomorrow's session, how to create login form, how to create a contact form, how to create a very big registration form with the required number of fields. I want to add a checkbox, I want to add a radio button, I want to add a file uploading or whatever it may be, everything we can see. But let me show you the form processing. Finally, I want to keep input type equal to submit. Input type equal to submit, submit submit, and value is an attribute, value equal to save. That's all. Now you can check this. Now we have a button, save button. Let me add one break tag open, break tag close. Now you can check this exactly. Now you are entering data. I'm entering data. So you are entering some dummy data here. Okay. On submit the data, where data will go? Method is empty, action is empty. The data will be submitted to same page. Can you see now? This is your URL. Observe this carefully. Whatever the data you are entering in the form, you are using get method by default. If you can submit, the data will be appended in URL. Can you see? It is a question mark because there is no name attribute actually. You have to take the name attribute also, guys. Here, take the name also. Name equal to uname, ID equal name equal to email. Something like this. You have to take it. If we can take, then only data will be transferred with the help of name attribute only. Name attribute is very, very important. So then ID, name is very, very important. So if there is no name attribute, it cannot transfer. Now you can see, earlier we submitted the data. It doesn't do anything for you. Now I'm going to enter some value. You can enter the mobile number. Now if you can submit, see the URL. If you can submit this, can you see the data you entered was appended in URL because of the name. You earlier it is not appended in URL. You name, this is the name of the input field. Email, name of the input field. Can you see the format, how the format was appended in URL? So this is your file actually, form.html is your file. There a question mark is appended. After that question mark, the hello world is the name, email, and this is the value and mobile. Can you see this name and email and mobile are the name of the input fields, and the values you entered in the input field, they associated together like this. This is the way they are transferring the data from HTML page to some other page actually. For example, this time I'm going to provide my action. Earlier you provide an action like this, right? Let me provide my action as save.php. Now you can check this exactly, method get only, right? Now you can go back and submit the data in the form again. Now you can see earlier the data was submitted within the same page. Earlier the data was submitted in the same page. Let me submit this. Now you can see this URL where you went, you went to save.php. In save.php you can able to see it exactly. Can you see the same? Earlier you didn't provide any action, that's why the form was submitted to same page with the key and value pair combination. Here also it is now save.php. It went to save.php with the data you entered in the form. Now you can see the same combination again, same data I entered, nothing difference is there. Can you see exactly same format, but this time you went to something. But here in the form, we can use a method called get. That's why it is appending the data in the URL. If you can use post method, you can see the beauty of post method. It doesn't append the data anywhere in the form, but it will transfer the data to server. Now you can see. Now I'm going to submit the form. Now you can see you can enter some data. Okay, data entered. Now if we can submit the form, now you can see you went to save.php, but is there any data in the URL? There is no data in the URL. So in real time, we will always use post method only. There are some differences between get method and post method also. If you can check this, what are the differences exactly we are having? Here you can see the differences of get and post. If we can check this, get and post. These are the methods. Get is not secured. Simply says a point I am writing, get is not secured. SECURED secured. Post is secured. Why post is secured? Post is secured method. SECURED secured. It is not secured because it will appends the data in URL. Appends the data in URL. If it is a password also, it is going to be appended in URL. Na? So sensitive information also is going to be appended in URL. So it doesn't append the data in URL. It does not appends the data in URL. That's the reason it is going to be secured. And moreover, it will transfer limited amount of data only from the form to server. I mean, around 2 KB data only we can transfer by using this get method. So here, if we can see, we can transfer unlimited amount of data. Unlimited amount of data, unlimited amount of data to server. Exactly. We can transfer limited amount of data to server around 2 KB. 2 KB, more than 2 KB. 2 KB means almost all 2000 characters. 1024 into 1024, guys. 1 KB is 1024, na? So 1024, 1024, 2048 characters, it may depends. I mean, it may transfers around, that's all. That's why it is 2 KB. But if you can use post method, it may transfer any an amount of data. Just I'm sharing you these points in the chart window. Copy this. This is one of the important question for interview. So keep this very, very important. These points are okay. Right. Mostly asked question in interviews also. Just remind this, just keep this exactly. What is get method? What is post method? So both the methods are used to transfer the data. Even though if you are not providing method, by default this get method. By default get method, it will append the data in URL. No, I want to process my forms in a secured manner, then definitely you can go with the post method, guys. Okay now? Right. Thank you then. So this is all the today's session. Tomorrow I will show you the forms only. Let me show you different forms creation, right? Login form, registration form. So subscription forms, contact forms, like this we are going to create the forms, guys. Okay. All right. Any doubts, please carry on you have.